All right, so we'll get to the visuals where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Ahmedabad to assess the situation. You can see in the visuals that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Ahmedabad taking stock of the situation. He is there at the crash site. We're getting you these visuals from Ahmedabad, a day after the tragic Air India plane crash that claimed over 240 lives. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Ahmedabad at the crash site to assess the situation. Plane crash happened yesterday in the afternoon around 1:38 p.m. The Boeing 787 aircraft took off at 1:38 p.m. 5 minutes later, the aircraft plummeted into the PJ Medical College hostel mess 5 kilometers from the airport. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is at the crash site in Ahmedabad. Students at the medical college, they were having lunch. They were all gathered there for lunch, where a towering plume of smoke was visible after a massive explosion. The pilots reportedly gave a mayday call immediately after takeoff, signaling a life-threatening emergency. India's deadliest air crash involving a single aircraft. The death toll over 240. And the entire situation unfolded in just 30 seconds of horrific accident. 11-year-old Air India 787 Dreamliner departed Ahmedabad for London with 242 passengers and crew, stalled after climbing barely 425 feet and crashed into a medical college campus before bursting into flames. You can see in the visuals, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is at the crash site. He arrived at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital to meet those injured in the AI-171 plane crash. He is accompanied by Civil Aviation Minister, also Gujarat CM Bhupendra Patel, and also Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, Union MOS Muralidhar Mohol, and also State Home Minister Harsh Sangvi. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital to meet those injured in AI-171 plane crash and also to assess the situation. And you can see in the visuals Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the crash site in Meghnani Nagar after and also inspecting the building and debris removal operation by state and the national agencies. Senior officials along with Gujarat CM Bhupendra Patel are with him. You can see Civil Aviation Minister also explaining him to probably what actually had happened. So Prime Minister Modi, he is at the crash site in Meghninagar and inspecting the building and debris removal operation by the state and the national agencies. Senior officials along with Civil Aviation Minister, Chief Minister of Gujarat, Bhupendra Patel are accompanying him. Then he is expected to go to civil hospital where he is expected to meet the injured in the incident and carry out a review meeting with the top state officials. So a London-bound Air India Boeing 787 crashed shortly after takeoff from Ahmedabad. Over 240 people were killed. The aircraft went down near the Ghoda camp area, triggering a massive fire and panic in the residential locality. And you can see in the visual, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting the crash site in Ahmedabad in Meghninagar. Civil Aviation Minister and Chief Minister of Gujarat, Bhupendra Patel, are accompanying him at the crash site. So we are getting you these visuals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is at the crash site in Meghninagar and inspects the building and debris removal operation by the state and national agencies. Senior officials along with Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel accompanying him, and then he is expected to go to the civil hospital where he is expected to meet the injured in the incident and carry out a review meeting with the top state officials.
All right, there you can see the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaching the site where the crash took place yesterday. In one of the deadliest incidents that has shaken the entire country, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his condolences. And not only this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been consistently in touch with all the authorities since the news of the crash took place and everybody was apprised. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in constant touch with the higher authorities. Union Minister Amit Shah rushed to the spot immediately after the incident took place. Not only this, Civil Aviation Minister, Union Civil Aviation Minister, the Chief Minister and everybody rushed to the spot yesterday itself. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was constantly taking continuous updates. And now this morning, on the second day of the incident, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself reached the crash site there in Meghninagar of Ahmedabad where the crash took place. Everything happened in just 60 seconds when the plane took off from the airport, from the runway, and it immediately crashed because of the reasons that have been updated to all the viewers as we are bringing you continuous updates of the current happening and current situation which is currently unfolding in Ahmedabad. Relief and rescue operation has also been completed, and we are getting the latest update from Ahmedabad that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently at Meghani Nagar plane crash site where the incident took place and taking stock of the entire situation. He's also expected to hold a high-level meeting, and not only this, he also met with the survivor of this incident. There is just a single survivor, and out of that 241 are dead as reported by the official website of Air India. And there you can see the relief and rescue operation that has been timely completed, and now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is himself visiting each and every side, each and every affected area, how this took place, what was the lapse, what exactly happened, what went wrong with the airplane. There you can see Union Civil Aviation Minister explaining Prime Minister Narendra Modi of the entire situation. They've also been giving a constant update and keeping a check on all the rest of the survivors, on all the rest of the victims who were affected at the hostel area as well, where the plane crashed, and at the area where the people survived, and they were immediately rushed to the hospital. Now Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself is at the current spot where this incident took place at Meghani Nagar after the plane crashed in a very, very unfortunate incident that India witnessed yesterday afternoon. After the incident, many of the countries expressed their condolences and solidarity with India, and they extended their hand of support for India. And not only this, the British officials have also reached the site, and they are also taking a stock of the situation, that how this happened, how the incident happened, what exactly went wrong at the incident. And there you can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi doing a complete stock of the situation, taking a complete stock of the situation inch by inch of how the accident unfolded, what happened, what went wrong, what was the reason behind it, where did the actual remnants of the aircraft were stuck when this happened. There you can see in the visuals as well. And right after the incident that took place yesterday afternoon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressed his condolences and said that the tragedy in Ahmedabad has stunned and saddened us. It is heartbreaking beyond words. In this sad hour, my thoughts are with everyone affected by it. Have been in touch with ministers and authorities who are working to assist those affected, quote unquote. This was the tweet posted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi soon after the incident. And as we've been telling you that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was constantly, minute by minute, he was taking the stock of the entire situation, how it unfolded, when it unfolded, what went wrong. And he's been in constant touch with all the authorities. Union Minister Amit Shah also rushed to the spot when the incident took place. Union Minister Amit Shah briefed Prime Minister Narendra Modi about how the incident took place and unfolded. And not only this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his condolences and expressed how sad the country is, the nation is. And this is a personal loss to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well, because he comes from Gujarat. Ahmedabad is very close to his heart. And not only this, because the aircraft was bound from Ahmedabad to London. There were many other nationals of different countries. British nationals were there, Portuguese nationals were there. And not only this, the former Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was also there in the aircraft, who also lost his life. And there were many other people who were bound to London, who were bound to their destination in this particular Air India flight. And only one lone survivor is there, who's currently at the hospital, who's currently being diagnosed, who's currently under the supervision of the doctors there at the civil hospital in Meghani Nagar. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met with the survivors of the crash incident. Now, not only this, to give you more information on this, on how this happened, now at least 241 people were killed after this Air India flight crashed near the Ahmedabad airport on Thursday near Meghani Nagar, in one of India's worst aviation disasters. Now, the 787 Dreamliner bound for London's Gatwick Airport took off at 1:30 p.m. local Indian Standard Time and crashed just 5 minutes, rather a minute after its takeoff in a residential area. The plane crashed onto a medical college hostel during the lunch hour. Air India said 241 people were aboard the flight and only one survivor is there and rest of them died. 241 have died and only one lone survivor survived in this horrific plane crash incident. He was a British national of Indian origin and is currently at the civil hospital. He was in seat number 11A, next to the emergency exit. Now, if we talk about the deceased includes 169 individuals, Indians, 52 British nationals, 7 Portuguese and 1 Canadian passenger as well. And former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was also present in that particular aircraft. Now, the government has initiated a formal investigation into the tragic Air India plane crash. Civil Aviation Minister said, and I quote him here, following the tragic incident in Ahmedabad, a formal investigation has been initiated by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau in line with the international protocols set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Additionally, the government is constituting a high-level committee comprising experts from multiple disciplines to examine the matter in detail. The committee will work to strengthen aviation safety and prevent such incidents in future, unquote. This is the official tweet put out by Union Civil Aviation Minister that a committee has also been put in place to investigate the entire matter. And not only this, foreign agencies will also be helping in understanding and decoding the reasons for this horrific accident that took place yesterday in Air India flight Dreamliner. And only one survivor happened to survive out of this horrific incident, and rest 241 passengers succumbed to the incident. And also, if we talk about the DNA sampling, as most of the passengers were burnt to death, forensic experts says that the only possible option for their identification is DNA profiling. Now, the government is now undertaking DNA sampling process for the relatives, and the official number of deceased will be declared only after the completion of the DNA testing. Samples of 192 people have been taken so far for testing at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital. Now, the police is also taking special care of all these families and appropriately attending to their needs as well. And now, to get you the latest from Ground Zero, I am joined by DD India correspondent Arun Sharma. Arun, after this horrific incident, we can now see Prime Minister Narendra Modi taking inch by inch stock at the crash site. What more can you tell us about this?
Good morning. Well, yes, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Ahmedabad, and of course he has first of all visited the crash site, and he was briefed by the government officials, Home Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Harsh Sanghvi, CM of Gujarat, Bhupendra Patel, and of course the Civil Aviation Minister as well. So he was being briefed as far as the crash site is concerned as to what has happened as far as this unfortunate flight AI-171 is concerned. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after visiting the crash site, has also met with the injured people who were injured during this incident at the medical college as well, and also the lone survivor in this incident. So this we know this fact that out of 242 people on board, there is only a lone survivor, and Prime Minister Modi has met him as well. So yes, today we are witnessing that there is a coordinated effort, and of course there is a great coordination between center and state as far as the relief operations are concerned. The investigation team has also reached, and of course we'll be taking the samples, and of course we'll be collecting the data from the site. Now the focus is on the fact that when the black box gets the data, for the details.
we are trying to get in touch again with Arun. But yes, as Arun just mentioned, that we can see a coordinated effort that is coming to the fore after the horrific incident took place yesterday in the afternoon hours, according to the Indian Standard Time. After this horrific plane crash took place, taking the lives of 241 passengers, only one lone survivor were there. And not only this, not only Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the entire cabinet of the ministers was constantly in touch and rushing to the spot of this horrific incident. And now Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself at the spot, and Union Civil Aviation Minister explaining him the cause of the incident and also what exactly the government is doing. After this incident, we just told you about the tweet that came from Union Civil Aviation Minister about the committee that has been put in place to investigate the matter. And not only this, the foreign agencies involved will also be helping India in taking this process further on what exactly was the reason behind this horrific plane crash that just happened in just nick of minutes, and it just took off. The plane just took off and then immediately crashed at Meghani Nagar there in Ahmedabad. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met, as our correspondent just told us, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with the survivor as well, and also those were injured, because that was a residential area where the plane crashed there in Ahmedabad at Meghani Nagar. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there are the visuals that you can see on your screen right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with the people who saw this incident, who were injured in this incident at Meghani Nagar, because that was a residential area where the plane crash took place. There are many people who were injured there because of this incident. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with each of the injured there at civil hospital. The only sole survivor is the UK national, and these are the students of the medical college, because the part of the plane entered the hospital, the medical hostel, where many of them got injured. And this is the lone survivor with whom Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted and took stock of the situation. He was sitting at seat number 11A, and he happens to be the only lone survivor out of the 242 passengers. Rest of the 241 passengers succumbed to the crash that took place yesterday at Ahmedabad, and the rest are the hostelers who were there at the building, who were there in the hostel when this incident took place. Now, while those survived the crash but sustained injuries, and they continue to remain under supervision of the top authorities at the civil hospital there in Ahmedabad. Over 100 MBBS students of BJ Medical College at Meghani Nagar were having lunch in the boys' hostel mess on Thursday afternoon when this horrific crash took place. The Federation of All India Medical Association said at least 5 MBBS students were killed and over 60 medical students were injured. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi currently meeting all of them there at the civil hospital in Meghani Nagar, and also meeting the hospital staff and taking stock taking stock of all the survivors. And he is the lone survivor who happened to come out of this incident. He is currently under the supervision of the doctors, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself talked with him. Now, Arun, getting back to you, we are seeing the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting the lone survivor as well as the rest of the hostelers who came out of this horrific incident, who were present at the hostel when they were having lunch there at the building. Tell us more about what is currently unfolding there. Audio?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Arun. Please go on.
Yes, early in the morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi left from Delhi for Ahmedabad, and he is taking the stock of the situation. He has visited the crash site, and he was being briefed by the Home Minister of Gujarat, Harsh Sanghvi, CM of Gujarat, Civil Aviation Minister, and of course by various other government officials. So Prime Minister Modi has taken the stock of the situation. Now we have seen that yesterday when the news came in of the crash of this Air India 171 flight. So immediately all the agencies were in action. The NDRF forces were rushed to the spot site so that they can be taken to the hospital, and the green corridors were created immediately so that the ambulances can take the injured to the hospitals as soon as possible. And now today we are seeing that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi today taking the stock of the situation at the crash site, and also he has met with the injured people who were the primarily who got injured in this crash, and the lone survivor as well of this aircraft AI-171.
What more are we expecting, Arun? Are we also expecting Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold any sort of high-level meeting there? Because we just saw the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting the hospital staff and the doctors' team as well there.
So all these stakeholders primarily from the center and the state. Yes, a meeting, of course, in these kind of cases, a meeting is being chaired generally. And we have often seen that a complete brief is given to the Indian Prime Minister. So when Indian Prime Minister is on the ground, various government officials, all the stakeholders and the heads of various institutions, they generally brief the Indian Prime Minister to give the entire situation's view as to what has happened. Now, the black box, still remains to be seen that what comes out from the black box, what data comes out of the black box, because we are seeing that the lone survivor of this aircraft AI-171 has narrated his point of view. There are, the victims or, of course, the people who got injured in this incident, they are narrating their view as to what has happened. They are the eyewitnesses to this aircraft crash site. So yes, there are various inputs. So now, yes, of course, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also there, and he has recently met the victims and of course the people who got injured in this incident. But yes, we can as of now say that there is a great coordination between center and state, and of course all these steps are being taken so that number one, the injured can be given the highest level of treatment, and second, of course, now what is the way forward going from here as far as the aviation is concerned, or the aviation sector is concerned?
The government has constituted a high-level committee comprising of experts from multiple disciplines. Tell us more about that.
So this high-level committee consists of, various aviation bodies. That includes the DTCA, and the Civil Aviation Minister yesterday only said in a post that yes, a high-level meeting or a high-level committee has been constituted. Now the focus of this committee will be to gather the information. This also includes the gathering from of the data from the black box, and of course taking all the inputs from all the stakeholders and to compile the data. And the information will be given to the DGCA, and the focus is on the fact to find out as to what went wrong as far as the AI-17 flight is concerned that took off from the Ahmedabad airport at around 1:38 p.m. and immediately after the takeoff, the flight, of course, could not go higher, and of course, it collided downward side and it crashed.
Arun, because you were mentioning about the coordinated effort, take us through the timeline how Prime Minister Narendra Modi was constantly in touch with all the respective authorities and was constantly taking the stock of the matter as soon as the news of the incident came forward. All right, we'll try to again connect with Arun Sharma, but yes, as our correspondent just apprised us of the fact that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently at the site at Meghani Nagar where the incident took place. First, he visited the crash site, the hostel where the plane crash took place, and after this, he visited the civil hospital. There you can see the visuals. These are the survivors. These are the injured people who are there in the hostel, in the medical hostel at Meghani Nagar where the crash took place, because that was a residential area where exactly the crash took place. Not only this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met with the lone survivor who was a British Indian national, and then he remains the only person out of the 242 passengers who were there in the flight bound from Ahmedabad to London, and it was supposed to land at Gatwick Airport, but it could not just go out of the vicinity of Ahmedabad itself because the crash immediately took place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met with the medical staff there, took stock of the situation with all the concerned stakeholders, with all the departments who are currently involved in the relief and rescue operations. This is the lone survivor that you can see on your screen right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted him for a very brief time and took stock of the situation and his mental health currently, because the main agenda, the main focus is to ensure that all the lone survivors are cured properly. Their health is the first priority for the government of India right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself taking the stock of the entire situation. Not only this, when the incident took place yesterday in the afternoon hours as per Indian Standard Time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi constantly got in touch with all the officials of all the stakeholders who are currently involved with the relief and rescue operation. The Union Civil Aviation Minister, the Union Home Minister was rushed to the spot on the same day itself. Immediately on the second day, in the early hours of Friday morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself visiting the current sites and also holding high-level meetings with all the stakeholders involved in this to ensure that everything goes now smoothly and all the injured are being treated properly. All the injured are being taken care of properly and in a very proper manner so that no complacency is seen in the treatment process of any of the survivor, and in fact the lone survivor that you can see right now. He is talking, he's interacting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's perfectly interacting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And his survival comes as a surprise, comes as a miracle for everybody, because out of the 242 passengers who were there in the London-bound flight, he happens to be the only lone survivor, and he's perfectly conversing with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and probably sharing what exactly was in his mind. But however, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also trying to interact with him, maintaining the stand that their mental health remains, their physical health remains the topmost priority of the Indian government right now. And not only this, the investigation is also happening side by side, simultaneously. Everything is happening parallelly. The investigation is currently taking place. We told you about the tweet by Union Civil Aviation Minister that says that a committee has also been formed. The committee is currently looking into the incident, how it took place, what exactly went wrong. So everybody is on a war footing, everybody is on the front footing, ensuring that everything now goes smoothly. The injured are treated well. The lone survivor is taken care of properly. And not only this, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself visited the site, and he was very naturally very sad when he got out of his car. Prime Minister Narendra Modi got out of his car. His body language said it all, how much he was hurt with the incident, and he was slowly walking towards the hospital site, and not only this, towards the hostel side as well. And he's currently now taking stock of the entire situation. He also expressed his condolences and expressed grief on the incident, because this is one of the most horrific plane crash that India has witnessed over the years, that has taken place in India, where only one lone survivor is witnessed, who just survived the incident, who was sitting at seat number 11A next to the emergency gate of the Air India bound flight AI 171. The ministers, the authorities are consistently working on this currently and ensuring that everything takes place properly, everything takes place, unfolds in a very proper manner. No complacency is witnessed in any of the processes, in any of the steps that the government is currently taking. The identification of the burnt bodies is also being done by DNA profiling, because now it is very hard to identify the bodies as most of them are burnt. So the DNA profiling is currently taking place, and the exact numbers, the handing over of the body will only take place once the DNA sampling is completed. Now, unfortunately, one of the passenger of that particular plane was the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, and the entire world, the entire country expressed grief on this particular situation, and the international countries, the other partners of India, they also came up expressing condolences, expressing grief, and also extending helping hand, extending their support. We saw the tweets from many of the international countries expressing condolences and expressing their grief on the incident. Now, Air India has further set up Friends and Relatives Assistance Centres at Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Delhi and Gatwick airports as well, because that was a London-bound flight. The centres will provide support and take care of the needs of the families and loved ones of those on ill-fated flight AI 171 that was bound from Ahmedabad to London. Now, these centres are facilitating the travel of family members to Ahmedabad. Dedicated passenger hotline numbers for those calling from within India has also been issued. Let me tell you the number. It is 1-800-5691-444. I'll repeat it, 1-800-5691-444. And those calling from outside India, they can reach at +91 8062779200. I'll repeat it for all the viewers, +91 8062779200. This is the hotline number for all the international callers. Regular updates will continue on Air India's X handle, which is http://airindia and on their websites as well, which is http://airindia.com. So if you are seeking any information, you can constantly visit all these websites, all the social media platforms, and you can also constantly keep a tab on the Government of India profiles. Air India has also requested the media persons not to call the dedicated passenger hotline numbers. It is only for the survivors and only for the people who are currently seeking help, who are currently seeking information regarding their loved ones who were there in this particular London-bound flight. And further to this, Delhi International Airport on Friday confirmed that overall airport operations are running smoothly. However, due to evolving airspace conditions over Iran, Iraq and neighboring regions, some flight schedules have been impacted. So as we told you about the hotline numbers which have been issued for the Indian nationals and for the foreign nationals, you can continue reaching out at these hotline numbers, and for latest information you can also track the government handles, the Government of India handles for what exactly is currently happening at the crash site and how we are keeping updated, the Government of India keeping updated everybody, the Indian nationals and the foreign nationals, about the survivors, about the deceased as well, and how they can, take the bodies of the deceased, because the DNA sampling is currently in process. Once the DNA sampling will be completed, the bodies will be handed over to the families who will be reaching at the crash site and at the civil hospital. And to get you more on this, I'm joined by Meghna Dev straight from Ahmedabad. Meghna, we are continuously getting the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting with the survivors and the hostlers who were there at the crash site in Meghani Nagar. Tell us more about what next are we expecting, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently on the front footing, dealing with all the stakeholders and taking a stock of it. Meghna.
Yes, what we can see is that the people who were injured and admitted in the civil hospital was very near to the crash site. So this could also facilitate yesterday's quick response that was done by the medical staff, ambulances, other departments, firefighting vehicles, and so that definitely the proximity of the civil hospital to the crash site enabled quick response, and many people who have been injured are admitted here at the civil hospital. Now, having said that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi did meet the people who have survived this crash. We also spoke to a number of people. A couple of them were medical students who were having lunch during that time in the mess, and they said that they could hear this loud noise. And after that, the building started turning into rubble, and they were also they also got trapped in the rubble. But then after that, they managed to come out of the debris, and some locals also helped them to come out before the rescue team could arrive. So that's how they saved themselves. But obviously, they are still severely injured. Clearly, we can see in the visuals that a lot of bandaging has happened on the hands and on their heads, because there was a massive impact that they had to go through. But most of them are now being taken care of. Treatment has been already given, and for a few of them, line of treatment is still going on. But most of them are in a better situation now, and obviously, still a number of relatives are coming for the DNA samples. For giving their DNA samples to identify their relatives and take their mortal remains for their last rites. So this is also another procedure that is going on here at the civil hospital.
It's more about the committee which has been formulated as informed by Civil Aviation Minister on a social media platform, Meghna. Can you get her audio, Meghna? All right, we'll try again connecting with Meghna Dev, who happens to be at ground zero right now in Ahmedabad's Meghani Nagar and currently giving us all the latest updates on the situation which is currently unfolding, because the government is currently at the front footing and taking care of all the procedures very minutely with a very microscopic manner and taking stock of the entire situation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the location, and we are giving you the latest updates since the morning, since Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed at the airport. He first visited the site, at the hostel site where the plane crashed, and then he visited the civil hospital, interacted with all the survivors who were there, the hostlers who were there at the hostel building, as Meghna just told, that they were interacting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and telling their experiences, because they heard a loud sound first, and after that the building started crashing. And after that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met with the lone survivor of this incident, because out of the 242 passengers, he happens to be the only lone survivor. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.